Hey everyone.
Hey.
Happy
Welcome
Sunday.
back.
Happy. Should we say it? I don't know if I want to say it. You know what? Actually, I am going to say it. Happy Father's Day to all of the dads that show up every day. Because what it truly means to me to be a parent is to show up with presence every day, not just when I feel like it, not when it's convenient. And so,
It is.
let's get into it. Welcome to Real Raw Life, where we
Dive deep into topics.
Exactly what we
always
think.
authentic and real.
All the time. And also, hopefully, approach things with as much grace and compassion as possible. Raw, let's actually circle back to Real Raw Life, how it all originated. Raw stands for respecting the one and all, acknowledging that everyone and everything is perfect in the present moment, while welcoming life on its precise terms and conditions. However, I do want a little caveat to that. I think on my journey from when we first started to now, there is that raw piece, and then there's also fierce, passionate, truth of the reality of how things truly are, and calling people to a higher level. And you don't have to do that with violence or with hatred or anger is totally welcome here, but you don't have to do it with any type of violence or blatantly rude behavior.
Right.
But we do get to call things like they actually are.
Absolutely. Call it like it is, because I'm so tired of the fake culture that doesn't actually say what it means. By the way, I'm Kristen, Sophia.
Oh yes, introductions.
And Jessica, Lauren.
And obviously you're on my page, so you know who I am.
So you know who we are.
You know who I think I said that before. You know who I am.
Yeah.
So our topics today are, this might people like big wow face, Happy Father's Day to all the women who made a blessed man a father. Well, a father today. Oh yeah, a father today. And all the days that they've been a father.
Today we're celebrating fathers, and I just was feeling just spicy, and I wrote a post. It was like, a happy Father's Day to all the mothers who made a really lucky man a father today. Because without women, there would be no people at all, especially making someone into a father. And so if we are really truly celebrating the father today, we need to remember why that father became a father today.
That's true, and they would say the same thing, oh, without me, you wouldn't become a mother, and so it's
I can go to a sperm bank and get that. That doesn't need to happen.
That's true. Mm-hmm. No, it is so true, and truly, I feel like we wouldn't even get to a place where we'd feel this type of way, and we would have these type of titles and conversations and expressions if we actually felt like we were being met with the presence of a father, which I feel like is something. Let me fix this. Which I feel like something. Even though I had a father around my whole childhood, but
he was around.
The presence, I never truly felt deep presence from my father, except when I was playing sports and he was harassing me on the sideline to do better. He was my number one fan. Also,
except for when he was treating you like a boy.
He was my number one fan, and also my number one make me feel horrible,
You're perpetrator. Yeah,
and so this we don't even have enough time to talk about all this because this topic is so large and so heavy.
And our whole society, how it's all affected by the way people show up, either present or not. And we're not saying that mothers aren't doing similar stuff and not showing up in a present way. There's plenty of mothers who are addicted to drugs or whatever, and they're just barely there. But really, let's take a look at today how the father wound and how that is really affecting everyone in the world and society in general. Men who are not present with what they're doing, with their hearts present, they are neglecting this lower half of their body, which is connected to the earth, the mother, connected to the feminine, connected to that empathy, that caring, that nurturing. And then when you get them together in a group, what happens? Yeah.
All I know is I'm feeling, some deep woundedness on this particular day. And I have met some good fathers in my life. I know good men to this day. And so this isn't about saying that there aren't good men or there aren't good fathers. But there definitely, I think most people would agree, is a lack of them even being present in our lives. And mostly there's just so many wounds of abandonment, neglect, and abuse that this whole collective consciousness is actually moving through right now.
Totally. And my kid's father is a great father. He's been present He's there with them. I have some complaints like anybody would about certain things and different ways he approaches life and stuff. But there was always an underlying feeling of disconnect in that presence realm. And like, really, what is presence when you distill that down into, it's like real authenticity. It's being able to share how you feel with someone. It's being able to relate to them and their feelings. And that's what it comes down to, I think, is that women are professionals dealing with their emotions, at accessing their emotions, understanding their emotions and what they mean, what that emotion is trying to teach them. They're also mostly, not all women are like this, they're also mostly able to nurture and be present with someone else in their emotions, which is something that I just think men are little tiny baby giraffes. I forget where that came from. Some YouTuber used to say men are like little tiny baby giraffes when it comes to emotions. And it laughing.
We're gonna have to turn that into a meme. Oh my God.
Trying to stand their first day. It's like that. So I do have a lot of compassion for that. But in my own life and my father showing up, or not really showing up, but just being there, but not being present. And then men that I'm always trying to get that presence from. It's exhausting. I'm so exhausted by it.
The conclusion I've come to is be present with yourself. Like, truly co-create that divine masculine feminine union that everybody is so obsessed with. Truly also, I was obsessed with it too.
Within you.
This divine union, it's created
yourself.
within yourself. And anyone else that comes along the way is an added bonus. And so that kind of brings us to this, which is not everyone is your friend, and he likes the idea of you like you like the idea of that coat.
So the idea of not everyone is your friend, I've started really switching my language to my acquaintance, because when I start saying everyone's my friend, it really waters down the people that I spend and invest a lot of time creating a friendship with. And so if I know of someone, that doesn't mean I deeply know them. They're my acquaintance, and that's okay. Like, why do I need to call everyone my friend? And we have this complex of that, I think, in the society, that everyone's your friend, but it's not true, because some people are not your friend, and you're calling them your friend, and
no, it's true. When you really look at your actual circle of friends, how many people would you really directly call on if you needed something?
There's like a handful, 5 usually. There's 5 strong, committed friends that I have in my life, because really, we only have so much time in our lives. And the topic that cracked me up the other night, because I like the idea of that coat, but I don't really like it.
I never wear it. That's the thing.
I never wear it, but
it looks cool.
I want to have it around, bring it back. I'll miss it, but I don't know if I want to wear it. And that's sometimes how we feel with men. They have this ideal, and I'm not saying that women don't do this too, where they have this like fantasy of this man. But specifically, how many times have I had this idealized, like, the man's just, oh, you're just gonna be fun and there's gonna be no difficulties here. And then once you're proving to be difficult, my fantasy of you popped, and now I don't want anything to do with you, romantically speaking. Because I think that there's this fantasy that this woman's going to be like seductive and like always juicy and wet, and she's never going to be hormonal, stressed out, overworked, over everything, overwhelmed, and that she's gonna just somehow be like ready to jump in bed all the time and make you dinner and tidy everything up. And when she's not, and she's looks like hell because she can't take care of herself, or she's like nagging at you or bitching or complaining, that why is she doing that? And oh, she must not be the one. I liked the idea of her, but I didn't really like the actual her, and that hurts.
I feel like that's where everyone's doing that in relationship. They're coming together with this like idea of who somebody is and who they should be, and then as soon as they're not, then, which, yeah, for women, we're on cycles, and so like, you aren't always going to be juicy and happy and fun and flirty and whatever. Sometimes you're going to be bitchy and mean, and I just need to be alone type of thing.
Yeah, or if you come around, come bearing chocolates and soft things and like,
speaking of
comfort items, and just be sweet. And it's, why can't, I'm just so curious why some men can't understand that there's a cycle that happens every 28 days-ish, that for the first half I'm like this, for the second half I'm like that. and why they just love the first half so much. And then the second half comes and they're like, fuck that.
Hey, it's like the spring and summer and the fall and the winter. And
I hate being cold.
You know, all these...
But the trees need the cold. Everything needs the cold so that it can produce stuff again so you can enjoy the fucking fruit.
Truly, the essence of the feminine.
Ma. Because the essence of the feminine is the only thing that's really, truly keeping us alive and sustained on this planet.
It is. And
okay, let's say, no, this is true. We need like the poof of pollen or whatever, like that produces the things. Like, so we do need both the masculine and the feminine, but I think there's such an underrated societal problem right now that over masculinized, over testosteronized life that we have to fall into, because if we're not driving ourselves like a man and full of testosterone, then we will fail. Then we won't be successful. Like, how am I going to, on the second half of my cycle, tell all of my clients, you know what, actually this second half, I'm not going to really be able to show up because I'm going to be in my bitchy stage of my cycle? No, we have to keep driving. Oh, I'm going to be exhausted from this half of my cycle, but I have to keep going.
I just watched a thing recently about how, I have to refer back to it so I can fully grasp it, but yeah, we're not designed for dopamine. We're like, I mean, we are, but we aren't. Like, we actually feel at our best with oxytocin, which is why when we orgasm, our body is flooded with oxytocin. Dopamine, your phone, all these dopamine hits,
right?
They actually energetically drain us over time. So it might initially, it's like when you drink alcohol or whatever, that first initial little buzz that you get, but it's not actually really what sustains your feminine female body.
And I'm fucking tired of running my life like a man and having to do what a man does. I'm so fucking tired of it. I'm so exhausted. I'm burnt out. Last time that we chatted, I was so just, this anger brewing, and it's, oh wow, my body's actually physically not functioning optimally because I'm constantly not doing what my body as a feminine female body needs, which is rest, regeneration, sitting around and chatting and eating some cherries that I just picked and just like loving my just juiciness for a moment. And then every now and then I have a burst of energy and I want to go out and let's fight and fuck and do all the things like men do. And then then I want to mostly rest in my feminine, and I haven't been able to do that. And my friend, one of my best friends, called me today. I was like, happy Father's Day to you, a woman who does both roles. Because she has a husband that does the fatherly role in their family, and she's the woman that does the womanly role and the motherly role in her family. And she sees me. She sees that I have to do both. And I'm like, why can't men see me that I have to do both? And try to figure out how they can step in and relieve that area. How can I relieve that area in your life instead of, why are you being a cunt? So why can't my best female friends see that? And the male friends are just like, what is wrong with you?
Because there's a veil. There's a veil, and until you actually become a mother, which
they'll never be able to.
Like, no, seriously. Like, I just wrote something about this that I'm about to post, but that's like what the mother wound was for me. When I became a mother, it was like a veil was lifted from my eyes, and I fully saw what Minnie called the silent work of mothers. It has so many layers beyond just the silent work of mothers. It's a wound that has many different layers and many different meanings. But truly, the silent work of mothers becomes very obvious when you are actually in it, when you become a mother, and when you are left alone with your child to do everything all the time. And not only that, you could even be in a relationship and live with somebody and you still don't feel met. And so getting to
they're appreciated
and so getting to this like other topic of the underlying, making the unconscious conscious, like the underlying patterns that are running in the background in what determines how we end up keep choosing these certain people in our lives to be in relationship with. Because if I look at who I had a child with, I unconsciously chose someone who was not present, neglectful, abandoning. Like, honestly, when my mom had me as a child, when I was born, my dad at the time was an alcoholic and also I think a drug addict. So I don't think he was even around for...
My dad was an alcoholic until I was 4, and then he was what we would call, I shouldn't talk about his story, but like he quit drinking, but I don't see that a lot of people that quit drinking actually go and find out why they quit drinking. Yeah, and then once they divorced, he was just gone. So it's like,
we have so many patterns of the masculine, the father being completely gone.
And I love my dad. I have deep compassion for his wounds. And I know he had it really hard as a kid. He grew up in the deep south of Tennessee, and his mom was a single mom, and she was abused by her husband. My grandpa was like this toxic living situation. He had five, it was like one of five or whatever, and like all these brothers. And by the time he would get the hand-me-downs, he would have like holes in the shoes, and just horrible stuff. He would go to bed hungry or just eat bread with ketchup on it at night. Just like deep neglect kind of stuff that my grandma did her best, was doing her best in the deep south. And then he comes into adulthood and didn't have a way to reconcile that. And so if he doesn't have a way to fill that cup up and how to heal that, then there's no way to offer any presence for us. And the only way to numb that pain is to drink or do alcohol or porn or whatever it is that men have that they go to numb this pain.
There's so many forms of that dopamine hit, the dopamine, and it's become more and more.
And it's called, what is it called? Incels, where they are celibate because they are addicted to like their devices and their screens. And there's all these like 20, 30 somethings who never leave the house and don't go on dates, but they have cyber girlfriends or whatever and don't ever leave. And I'm just like, oh, like is it getting better? Or is it getting worse? I don't know. It's truly a really big epidemic. And so we're calling here today, not to bitch and moan, but to say, hey, everyone, let's really be compassionate with each other and understand that men and women and their cycles, I guess males and females, are different, and that we have different times of the month that we are not functioning at a masculine level right now. We are functioning at the feminine level, and trying to have compassion for the men who are constantly functioning at the masculine level. I would never have any idea of how that feels, because when I'm at that level, I'm constantly overwhelmed. Detoxifying, stress relieving, all of those things
changing the subconscious programming,
doing the
Kundalini
challenge.
Yes, she's join the Kundalini yoga challenge that she's doing. Are you doing it?
I didn't do it today, but I'm doing it.
Do your challenge. You can still join today.
It's only like 8-10 minute breathing, very powerful.
It's 8 minutes of breath work a day, some intentional mantras, which we are going to do a mantra before we close this out, because Kristen's got to run. Otherwise we probably wouldn't rush it so much, because we have so much to say. So
as do you all.
I came across this divine timing this morning. I think this is so fucking beautiful. So the universe is rearranging everything in your favor. Repeat after me and watch what shows up for you in the next 24 hours, and I'll post the video in the comments. It's extremely important that when you repeat this, you do so with full commitment. Believe with certainty that this will occur, because you are very powerful. Anything you ask for, you always receive. So repeat after me.
It's true.
Universe, stack the odds in my favor. I am open, ready, and wildly available to receive with ease. Drop the abundances that I am ready to receive straight into my lap. Let the breakthrough ideas, the clarity, the aligned opportunities, and the resources I didn't even know I needed show up for me now.
Yes.
Open doors for me that I didn't even know to knock on. Deliver wins to me that I could not have planned. Let it be fun. Let it be joyful. Let it feel like a divine wink I cannot ignore. Surprise me in the next 24 hours with something so aligned, so obvious that I am blown away. Wow. I am always guided, supported, and funded. This is my new normal. Miracles, magic, overflow within me. And so it is. And so it is. So it is. Damn, I already got to get a haircut again. Like, my hair grew so fast. Oh, and if you haven't, go to thebodyofselfhealing.com or visit Kristen
at onedayspirit.com. Ask about hypnotherapy, and also a rage release retreat that's coming up for the fall. Ooh, it's going to be so awesome. Oh my God, it's going to be so good. But mostly the hypnotherapy helped to restructure, reprogram your mind so that you can eliminate old behaviors and patterns and find new ones. Where'd you go?
I'm getting this.
Ah!
Make
Up-level your life.
Make sure you go to the
Up-level.
bodyofselfhealing.com. Make sure you
Up-level your
by
life.
upgrading
There's
your
so
blood
many
over 4
testimonials.
months time. Get rid of microplastics, toxins, pollutants, heavy metals, zombie cells, all parasites, all the shit that doesn't
Parasitic
belong in your
relationships.
blood or in your body.
Truly, it makes parasitic relationships fall away.
Like, seriously. So,
Up-level.
4 sprays 3 times a day.
Look how light my teeth are for a minute. So light. And that's from this.
And one more thing. It tastes like bitters, and I think I just got it. Inhaled it while I'm like
Sometimes it
breathing
goes in
too
the
fast.
lungs, which is fine.
But I also, coming, if you're local, next week we are starting the Get Your Shit Together Club. The Gist Club.
Gist.
You got the gist? Get your shit together. It's going to be an intentional practice.
Body doubling.
So it's going to be Kundalini yoga practice, short little practice. Then it's going to be featuring a woman and her gifts. So I might have a friend teach a bachata class, or bring in a woman to do a tantric dance class, or some other type of gift. And then the latter half of it is going to be a space for you to show up with whatever it is you've been putting off. We all have those things where it could be filling out paperwork. It could be doing something for your business.
Oh yeah,
it could be anything.
The annoying thing you gotta fill out online.
That thing you keep putting off.
And you come and you flip open your laptop next to your bestie or a group of women like us, and you're just like our third eyes are all connected and a little grid, and our hearts are connected in this grid, and like suddenly it's easy to do. And we'll rise together.
Yes, and oh yeah, by the way,
we'll bring our men with us.
We really do love men. We really hope that people know that. We really do love men, and we just
also
really are calling them
calling.
to a higher level, a higher light.
Yes.
Like truly calling you to presence, to be present with the integrity of the moment, to keep your word, to honor your word, to show up for your children, and more than anything, show up for the mothers who birthed them, who literally created life from their womb. I can't even begin, it always amazes me that we think that it's so normal, that it's just so, it's like the most miraculous thing that it actually even happens, that
come together and they turn into a whole
comes
person.
together, grows
and then a
in
woman
your body.
pushes that thing out into the world, and it's
through a hole this
it's
big,
tiny.
okay? It's not
And then
even
it goes
that
back
big.
to
It's like
normal
this
again. It's incredible.
Women
Hug a woman
are
today
fucking
on Happy
incredible.
Father's Day.
Thank your mother. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers and to all the fucking mothers on this planet who do it all.
Bless
we love you.
your hearts.
And we want you to remember, you're the one. We all are, even the men.